kinds of neat stuff here at the Henry Ford. Look at the amount of fasteners alone that it takes in 1991 to hold on a Cadillac bumper. And then the engineer said, hey, we don't need so many. In 92, they moved to this. We were just taking a look at this engine with my buddy Brett Hayek. Abe's gonna sneak into the photo and show you. This is a scale version of an FE Ford. And we've actually seen this thing run in real life. This is built by Leonard Wood of the famous Wood Brothers. Abe, go on the other side just so people could see the scale of this. There's Abe. Look at this. That is rad. Here's a look at the 1962 Mustang 1 Roadster. This was a marketing tool used by Ford to get people excited about things that were coming down the line. And there's Abe checking it out. Well, this might be my favorite car at the museum. The incredible 1965 Indianapolis 500 winning Lotus 38, driven by Jimmy Clark. Crude by today's standards, but just such a cool car. You see the ducting up front right there. Just that open cockpit, shifting it. That Jimmy Clark red steering wheel. This car is duplicated in iRacing and it's really difficult to drive. These things had that Indy style Formula Ford engine, V8, screamer. In 1965, 490 something horsepower and almost 9,000 RPM. Incredible. Unsafe at any speed, the Corvair, Ralph Nader, 55 Bel Air, Toyota Corona, kind of neat. 6.5 liter Cougar, it's a 390.
35 horsepower.
So much stuff to see at the Henry. Big old Chrysler Newport.
Dodge Omni. This is the experimental X8 engine from 1925. An interesting failure. On the right, we have a 1931 Ford V8 engine cylinder block.
Here's a look at the Trevor Bayne Wood Brothers Motorcraft Ford Fusion that won 2011 Daytona 500. At the time, Trevor Bayne was just one day over 20 years old, the youngest winner ever of the Daytona 500, and the car has all of the pomp and circumstance, celebratory confetti on the car, all the signatures of the crew and things. Love that 21 Wood Brothers. There's Abe checking out the back of the car, and you can see how different today's cars are. You can see he also won it as a rookie because the rookie stripes are on there. Today's car looks much better. This thing is kind of all race car, kind of squared off. The proportions are weird, but it's still really cool. This is your actual car. Pretty neat. More than just race cars at the museum here. There's all kinds of displays for safety. Abe's gonna check out this Recaro seat.
I think I'm a little too fat for this.
I don't know.
Oh, no, I
Look
fit.
pretty good in there. Containment seat. See his shoulders. Fit in there. He's in the bucket.
Going to sleep.
He's gonna take a nap. It's been a long week. I don't blame you. And here's how a look at how the seat would lay out in the car as a containment NASCAR style seat. You see the leg protectors and the knee protector, and how close the cup guys sit to the wheel, because you don't want your arms extended for like 4 hours. That'd kind of be a pain. Here's a look at that awesome Recaro seat.
See the carbon fiber cutout?
And there's the carbon fiber cutout. Let's cruise over here and check this out. Wow. Chrysler 300B. Early NASCAR stuff.
Look at that cage. That's what they used to do.
Just some kind of hokey roll bar looking thing. Check it out, Abe. A bunch of Ford GT technology in this room.
This is the buck car.
Styling buck. Here's the Evolution. Now this is the kind of stuff you just don't get to see every day.
Yep, it's the actual clay model. So say somebody was beating on this with a hammer.
What are you looking at, Abe?
Ford GT brake, Ford GT Mark II brake. There's size difference. It's made in Italy.
Oh, look at that, Italy.
Look how thick this racing brake pad is compared to an OE pad.
There's Ford GT painted half street car, half race car, and there's actually race number 68. Car from Le Mans.
Who drove in this one?
Han Mueller and Bourdais. Now I know that?
Mueller, Sebastian Bourdais, Joey Hand.
I knew that because it says it right on the car.
Oh, well done.
I cheated.
You did.
And I think Billy Johnson drove the 67. Got all the patina on it. Check out the big crack in the wing. If we're in England, that's a wing, but we call it a fender. Wow. As raced. Super cool.
You can see the LED lights. It's all lit up over.
So much to see here at the Henry Ford. Not every day at the racetrack is a good day. Race car safety has come a long way. Really nice tribute to Ken Block. R.I.P. 43. Oh, Abe, now this is cool. Number 34 is going to be Wendell Scott, right?
Correct.
Wendell Scott. Got the 427 lump under the hood. I know Abe's digging this thing.
Yeah, I want to bring this home with me.
Yeah, me too. Look at that. Oh, this is so awesome.
I love that duct tape for the steering wheel. You know,
Duct tape was like an integral part of
actually electrical.
stock car building, or electrical tape back then. Big Galaxy. I mean, still stock body for the most part.
When
And-
stock cars were stock cars.
Yep. And it's big.
Oh, it's huge.
Number 34, Wendell Scott.
This is not your midsize.
Here's a whole display of Tether cars. And if you've never seen these things run, I highly recommend that you look them up on Google or on YouTube. Somebody's got to have a video on Tether cars. These things go like 80 miles an hour, tethered onto a circle, and they just almost run like faster than the eye can see.
Check out this dyno they have.
Oh my God, that actual dyno for one. Wow. Look with the readout gauge up there. That is too cool. Very, very cool. This was probably such a cool hobby in the 50s. Unbelievable. In addition to cars, you guys know I love trains, really anything transportation-wise. And here's Abe in front of a giant coupler, giant snow plow that would go on the front end of a locomotive, as you can see here, and be used for snow removal. And Abe's about, what, 6'3"? Abe's 6'3", so you could see how big this thing is. And there's a cab up top, so you could actually see what was going on. Snow flying everywhere. This is from the Canadian Pacific. incredible. And you could see these wings could extend out right here to shoot the snow away. Big giant steam engine here. There's actually a bigger one up front that we'll check out. Wow. The Henry Ford has a lot of good railroad stuff here. And we'll cruise around and check some of it out. Here's a wood-sided box car. Refrigerator cars, Abe pointing out. Probably one of the very first. All right, now we're talking. Look at this Allegheny locomotive. The 1601 steam engine. What an absolute behemoth piece of machinery. Let's go see if we can check out the cab in this thing. Look at the mechanicals. Just unbelievable, the sheer size. This is a 60-mile-an-hour locomotive from 1941. There's a scale model of it. And here's, zoom out a little bit. Just, the sheer size is just incredible. I wonder if there's an engineer in there. Oh look, Abe's driving a train. All right, so we're entering the cab. It's a little dark in here. There's Abe.
And I use the whistle. I don't know what all these things do.
I know. Hey, bust out the flashlight on your phone so we can see. It's really dark. Wonder if this will work. There we go. A little better. Big gauges. Look at these. Look at these levers. All kinds of things to operate. Oh my God, there's a lot to do in here. All right, I'm geeking. Here's the firebox. Look at this. Stagecoach. That's some brakes circa 1881.
Yeah, kind of like a Camaro.
Abe's hailing a cab. All kinds of transportation modes. Electric car, some of the first.
For the first 8 mile.
That's cheap. Good old New York City checker cab. It's a really cool Texaco truck. Just all kinds of different cars. But there's so much more than just automobiles and transportation at the Henry Ford. There's all kinds of neat stuff that we'll get to here in a little bit. Mostly transportation. Look at this thing. 1957 Cornell Liberty safety car.
Or lack of.
Look at the seats in there.
It doesn't have a wheel. It's like a motorcycle. Check that out.
Oh wow, let's check it out. Yeah, that's weird. Look at these innovations in safety. The first.
Would you put your kid in that?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't have any kids.
That looks crazy.
Here is an absolutely true piece of American history. I love old buses, but this one's super special because it's the actual bus that Rosa Parks rode on, and she refused to give up her seat, changing the course of American history forever. Abe's getting on the bus. Let's get on. Hello. Wow. And this is an early GM bus, as you can see. I called this the Old Look bus. That's the actual name of the style of the bus. Howdy, ladies.
Hello.
Abe's on the bus. All right.
So our bus was made here in Pontiac in 1948. It went to Terre Haute, Indiana first, and then it went to Montgomery. She was arrested on this bus December 1st of 1955. The Supreme Court ruling was decided mid-December of 1956. The bus boycott began in December of 1955 and did not end for 381 days, 2 weeks after the Supreme Court ruling.
That is amazing. And is he sitting in the actual seat? Which is the seat?
He's actually sitting in Barack Obama's seat.
Oh.
Oh.
Look at that.
So our former president visited us here at the museum in 2012, and he sat right there. Rosa Parks sat across the aisle. She sat there with a young black man. Over here were 2 black ladies. All 4 people were seated legally. It was not until this white section in the front here filled up by the third bus stop, 2 white men entered the bus and were left standing, and the bus driver, James Blake, turned and told everybody in this row, the first row of open seating, they had to go to the back of the bus. You weren't allowed to sit together, even in the same row together. If you were white and black, you couldn't do it. And so Rosa Parks said no. And the bus driver said, I'm calling the police. And she said, go ahead.
I have to sit in the actuals.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm getting the chills hearing that story. And there's Abe in the seat.
The bus driver got off the bus and found a pay telephone and called the police, and they came and arrested her. She went to jail. She sat in jail about 3 to 4 hours. She was bailed out by the local president of the NAACP with his attorney, and they actually paid for her bail of $100.
Wow.
But she had to go and face police court, because if you do not give up your seat, it is a $10 fine with $4 in court costs. And she told the judge the following Monday, I'm not paying that fine. So that left her with an open court case. The community began their bus boycott that evening, and they asked Martin Luther King Jr. if he would be willing to manage and run the boycott. He said, I will do this on one condition, that we do it non-violently, like Gandhi. And everybody in that community agreed, and they led a non-violent boycott, 381 days. So the entire community was boycotting this bus company, which meant that about 70% of the ridership was not there, and they almost put them under. So they raised their fares from 10 cents to 15 cents. And there was a large grouping in the white population that agreed with them and would not ride the buses.
Wow.
So there was a Supreme Court case decided in mid-December 1956 called Browder versus Gale. That court case was made up of 5 individuals from Montgomery who had refused to give up their seats on Montgomery buses. The Supreme Court said it is unconstitutional. You cannot segregate public transportation. But Montgomery refused to obey the federal ruling. So they had to send federal marshals to the city of Montgomery and tell the city council, you will either obey the law or you will all go to jail. The boycott ended 2 weeks afterwards. And that's when Rosa Parks and her husband left Montgomery and moved here to Detroit. She spent the rest of her life here. She passed away here in 2005 at the age of 92.
So the section we're going to check out now is machinery. Some really, really cool machinery from the industrial era.
Milling machine.
Here's a milling machine, Abe says. And this is just, look at the sheer size of those castings. The belt sander over there of some sort, or belt driven machine. Here's a lathe.
This machine was developed specifically for shipping the bottom side of a Model T engine block. 15 at a time. Check that out. I love how the heating stoves back then, I don't know what years these are until we get over there, the style. Look at that. It's so cool.
The Industrial Revolution is well represented here at the Henry. And there's all kinds of displays with real, full-size, installed pumps, steam engines, so many steam-powered machines of all types. And here's one that really interests me.
You know the story behind this?
I do. All right, here we go. I'm going to tell you what's going on with this. Let me give the phone to Abe. Right here. See these balls? They're weighted balls. Now, you've probably heard the term balls out, right? And everybody thinks that's a term that may be used in a different kind of context. But the term balls out actually comes from the Industrial Revolution. These balls served as a governor for the steam engine. As the engine would speed up, this would spin, and these balls would spread out and rise. And they would get to a point where the weight of the balls would limit the speed of the engine. And when the balls were balls out spinning, that meant the engine was running at full speed. Hence the term, balls out.
Balls. This is also the size of the steering wheel in my BMW.
Here's another set actually of balls in the balls out position. Much smaller balls on that one.
Big balls.
Big balls and small balls. Very cool. All right, look at this behemoth over here. Unbelievable the size of some of these machines. What we're looking at here is the Highland Park plant engine generator used at Ford's Highland Park plant in Highland Park, Michigan between 1912 and 1930. This generator will develop 4,000 kilowatts, 250 volts DC, and it was manufactured by the Crocker Wheeler Electric Motor Company in Amper, New Jersey. It develops 6,000 horsepower, spins 80 RPM, and it powered a Ford plant. All right, so we've climbed up on her to get a better look. Look at the size of that flywheel. I mean, it's got to be 30 feet high, 20 feet high.
Got this connecting rod.
That, my friends, is a connecting rod. What's the stroke on that, bro?
I will have to call Brian Wolf and ask him.
That's a stroker. That's a conrod. There's a crank. Wow. Oh, you can see the piston in there. The bore, stand up straight. Look at Abe. The bore is almost as tall as Abe. So it's probably like a 5-foot bore. Wow. All right, here's a watt generator. Let's see if Abe can generate max 760 watts. Can you get all the bulbs lit, Abe? Do your stretch. He's gonna go for it. Come on. That's it? All right, Abe's gonna give it another try.
What'd I get up there?
You got about 3/4 of the way up. 15 bulbs.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. Oh, I think you peaked at the top. I think you got it. And no trip to the museum would be complete without stopping at the gift shop.